let's head over and see if John's ready to start his demo.
Mr. John, are you with us? Got to talk to us, John.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
You got me now?
You gonna light him up, Dane?
Yeah, I'm getting him.
I got him.
Thank you.
Hello there, Mr. Brown. How you doing, bud?
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I'm here, but I don't know
Well,
whether
we're
I can
ready to
share
go.
this.
We're ready to
screen.
go if you are.
Yeah, I don't know whether. Back a month ago or more, I showed it was a bottle stopper, and it was, can I get this in here some way? Yeah,
There it is.
Very good.
like that.
Yeah.
And the question was, how did I get those inlays in? Well, I'm not going to do so much of an exact turning in there. And I do it with this router that you're looking at. And it's got a 90-degree V-bit in it. It's down here at the bottom like this. And I made a mount for it that is here. And drilled a large hole in it and got a hole in it somehow for put that router in. And then I have this miter track on up here on the top, and I will take this camera and see if I can't move it around here to show you a little better. Here's the miter track, if you can see that. And here is the front of this box, like, so to speak. The router on the top. And as I move it around here, you can see there's an angle on that top shelf where the router is setting on. And as it's on here, you're looking into that box. And this, you have this piece of wood in here. This slides back and forth like this. And we get this on here. And lighting on this is very difficult to get properly. You can see it because of the shadows and everything in this box. And then this comes across like that. And there's adjustments on this. You can't use the attachment that comes with this router, or any of the routers, to do very fine adjustments. You have to do it all with this ring, this coarse adjustments. You get it on there, and in a few minutes I'll show you how it's in. And I had a different router box than this in my other shop, and it was too heavy for me anymore to lift, and it's gone to my niece, and that's 2 hours away, and it won't fit this lathe. I had it on a 1224 one-way at home, but this moves back and forth across that like that. And if I can get lighting on here, I've tried and tried to get different lighting on here, and it's very difficult to do. But you can see how this router comes across like that.
Yeah, lighting looks good.
Pardon me?
We can see really
The way
good.
it was.
But anyway, the angle on this, I know somebody's going to ask. The
John, you got
angle that I'm.
John,
John,
you
you
got something. John, you got something in the way of the camera. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it, I saw it there. I'm watching this on my computer here, and I've got an iPad that I'm using as the camera. And after a bit, I will show you another router sled here, like that goes flat on the lathe to do horizontal lines straight back and forth across that you could do on a bowl or something. Here was one. If you can see that, I'll try to get better light on it here in a little while. But anyway,
Hold it up, John. There you
That's
go.
like that's like a fluting jig to make the horizontal lines.
yeah, it's a, that is a, I'll get better pictures here. That's a weed pot. I don't know. Somebody accused me one time of growing marijuana, but I don't think so. But other than bottle stoppers and that, so I'll just slide this out of the way for a few minutes. And
Now you got me paying attention, seriously.
I've got a table here that I can show some of the pieces on. Maybe shut this light out. A little Christmas ornament that I've made quite a lot of. And they're in the lathe like that. And here's another Christmas ornament that I have made with slots in it, and then there was chatter work on the top of it.
Nice.
And the finial icicles made out of cherry, and the center part is a hard maple. And I like the contrasting color. And here was that bottle stopper that I showed a while ago, and it would be in the lathe this way.
You said that angle was 52 degrees. Is that correct?
Yeah, and when I originally made these back in the first jig I made for this router back, how many years ago? It was probably 69. Why, I just made at that 52 degrees other than I liked it. And I've stuck with it. The other jig I had, I made out of a product with metal. It was made out of a product called Unistrut. And it's like a channel iron. And maybe people that's in the construction business and building know what this Unistrut is. Electricians and plumbers use it a lot for suspending pipes and everything from ceilings and walls and everything. And it was really neat, but there was a lot of welding involved in it and cutting and all that I could do, because one time that was my occupation, was a welder. And it wasn't hard for me to do. And there was a place in Pittsburgh that sold this Unistrut, and I could go there and buy cutoffs and didn't have to pay. It's quite expensive, and didn't have to pay the full price. It was scrap price that I paid for it. But that's some of the, here's another Christmas ornament that is, it would hang on a tree that way. Now, how, not related to the turning of it or anything, well, kind of a way, but how I held it in the lathe to get that chatter on both sides and all was you make this mandrel, I guess you'd call it. I've got to get over here. I forget about that. That mandrel that goes in the chuck on a lathe, and you put a long spigot or tenon on the end of it, and then you put this on here like this. And there's a screw, and there's a split in this long pin that you cut in there with a hacksaw. And because I wanted a very fine split line in it. And then there's a hole drilled down the middle of this. You put this on here and tighten this screw up, 10 wood screw that has a tapered end on it. And you just screw it in there and it'll lock it up on there so tight you can't turn it, because it has to be held very firm to do the indexing, or you get it all messed up. With the indexing, you wouldn't get it even around there. The same with all of these, but that's about all. But when you put these grooves in here, I don't necessarily put inlays in all of them. As you can see, I do painting in them. And here's one that's painted right now. And the red paint's just slopped on there. And then I put gold sparkle paint on the inside of it and then turn it down. And after a bit, we'll put that in the lathe and cut it down so that you have an idea of what it looks like. Well, it's on here. This has got sparkle in it. And but I've done a number of different things. Most of it's been Christmas ornaments, because that's what I really like to turn. And here was another bottle stopper, but it was a two-sided. When here it was turned off center to get the flat on it, and then a slot cut across it for the inlays. Now, while I'm right here, I'll get to this indexing or dividing. On a lot of the lathes anymore, there is a dividing system on it, or indexing. And I'll move this camera a bit again and show you where it is on this jet. It's inside, right in here where my fingers are, and the numbers are very hard to read. And up here on the top, there's a pin that spring loaded that goes into these holes on the inside. And it's a little bit difficult, especially when you're making a lot of them. And I made 150 of them for the group of people here at the retirement center where I live. And it's very hard on your fingers. And with any of the indexing that you buy, whether it be well, I don't see where I laid them now, but anyway, here it is. Here's one of these indexing wheels. And it came with some other attachment that I bought, and I don't like it at all. There's many of them sold like that, and I don't like them. But there's 24 positions on most of the lathes. The bigger ones have 48, and I had a General that had 48 on it, but no numbers. And that didn't suit me. So I searched on the computer and came up with a couple of programs that you can make your own. And I've got that information here. And you see with a 24 and a 48, you can't get uneven numbers, which Art World says you should have uneven numbers when you do a lot of this stuff. I couldn't get it. So I was putting 5 in a lot of these things and 7, and you couldn't get them. This wheel that I have on here now is 7. And here is what they look like. Well, I don't see the whole pack of them right at the minute, but I lose things rather easily. My mind forgets a lot of things. But here's one with 9. And they go on, particularly like that. If these pieces aren't exactly flat, why this won't screw on straight, because I don't have much of a flat spot without threads on there on these smaller lathes. But the one way was really good. It had enough that the edge of the end of the chuck would get back onto that round part that didn't have any threads. But then you have to make these locks no matter what you do. Even on this chuck has 24 positions on it. I don't think you can see that the way I'm. Well, here, we'll do this. You can see that Vic Mark chuck, they have, if I can get it up here where you can see it. The Vic Mark chuck here has indents in it for 24, and they're very accurate. But that's how I made 2 of these other ones that I'll grab right here. I didn't see them right now. I laid the whole pile of them down, but where I laid them. But anyway, this is one of them. Now there's a couple of programs that you can get on the computer that you can make these on your own. And here is, see, can we get this over here? Can you see that? That's made, and it's about 8 inches wide, because that's on 8.5 by 11 paper. And there's a man has a website, one of them is in Canada, called woodgears.ca. And you get on there, the man's name's Matthias Wandel. And you get on there and look for dividing plates or gear patterns. These out, as many as you want. All you have to do, here's one from that man's site. And you can see down here at the bottom, it's got the instructions and everything. And you put this dividing plate mode in, and it will give you these lines across the outside perimeter of it, where you take a center punch. Now, they're not perfectly accurate, just as accurate as you can make it with a center punch. Not as accurate as ones that was made with one of these CN machines and all of that. But when you're just spacing them randomly apart here, why, it works very good. And I've made them clear up into the 20s. And that one works good. And then there's another one. And let me see if I've got the address here for it somewhere.
If somebody's got that, what name of that website, throw it in the chat, it'd be very nice.
Yeah, it's woodgears.ca. Add it there. There's another one that's very good, and it's www.blocklayer, BLOCKLAYER.com/circle dash DIVIDERENG.ASPX. And that's a very good one too. Now, when you get on there, you have to search a little bit. It just doesn't pop up in front of you like that, but I think anybody that's used to it will be able to find it. And then the miter track that this router sets in up on this table here, I got at MLCS. I think a lot of people have heard of that. They have a catalog that comes out. And I just happened to get one a few weeks ago. And there you see MLCS, a whole lot of different woodworking, wood turning items there. But for uneven numbers, that's about the only way you can go unless you buy 2 or 3 of these different plastic things like this, and then they don't have any numbers on them. And with my eyes the way they are, I can't read them. And there isn't any room that you can find the right numbers on them. And these plates that I make here are very nice for that. Now, if there's a way that you can put these on the outside end of your lathe where the hand wheel is, they work very good out there. I don't know whether I can get this turned around here like this.
I have a question. Do you think it makes that much difference on uneven numbers if you can't see everything at one time?
You're right, it doesn't.
But it's
I've
not
found it.
artistic.
I've found that it doesn't make any difference. I was making them off of this one that has 24 on it, and you couldn't notice the difference. I think there's probably 12 in it there. So if you want to use that one,
if you can see them all at one time, it makes a difference. But if you can't see it, it probably doesn't. So
I think you're right. Yes. But a lot of these smaller diameters of 5 and 7 work really good. I have done them with 6 and 8. I don't remember what's on this one right here. There's maybe 10 on it. But I think you're right. I just thought I'd pass this along because if somebody wanted to make gears or something, this one that woodgears.ca, that fellow makes a lot of pretty neat things and makes a lot of different gear patterns and everything that you can cut your own gears out with a bandsaw or something and make some kind of Rube Goldberg machines, what Rube Goldberg did. And but then there's a couple of other things here that takes care of the dividing part. Oh, here, this that you even for these chucks. And here's what I've made. This has 2 rare earth magnets in the bottom of it. I've made them with a clamp on that clamps onto the bedways. And then I thought of these rare earth magnets, and I get those at Rockler. There might be other places to get them. I don't know, but that's where I got those. And then you just make anything. There's the holes I drill in them are a little less than 1/4 of an inch. And this pin that's in here is a 1/4 inch bolt. And I put it in electric drill and rounded the end of it off so that it acts like a wedge when it goes in this hole. And because you want them to be very snug so that it doesn't wiggle around, or you're going to get uneven slots when you do that. I'll take this platform off here. Now, how I get these little triangular pieces, if you can see them there, is what fits in those slots. And these are 45 on each side. And how I get those is I cut them sticks out on a jig that I will show you over here. If I can move this, well, here, I'll just move it over here.
John, setting this up for you, John, a few folks joining us tonight. John Brown's doing a demonstration on how to put these grooves in the side of pieces that you turn. You'll see more pieces like it in a moment. Right now, he's showing us the jigs and rigs that he uses to do this?
Now, I cut these sticks square. They have to be very a good 1/2 inch or 9/16. But I cut them about 3/8 or 7/16 and square. And then I have made this jig that's on a 45-degree angle that fits in a bandsaw. And you see here, this jig, there's a runner on the bottom for to go in the miter slot on a bandsaw. And then I made this 45-degree jig and I put it up on the bandsaw and I take these sticks and run it right through the blade. The sticks are on an, I guess you can't see it there, can you?
Now you're getting there. All right.
Okay, there you go. And you run that, your bandsaw blade's coming right in here and down through there and you cut them. You could put them in this way, but it's a lot of wasted wood just making it into chips. And you make these sticks that'll lay in there. And then you cut them off at whatever length you want. And it's very nice stuff. And I had just bought this for some other things I was doing. But and then there's another thing, a safety thing that I'm going to show you here right now. When we try to cut round pieces, they're like this. You see, there's a round piece in that. It's very dangerous because if you try to just take and feed these round pieces through a bandsaw blade, the teeth can grab it and spin it and would usually try to spin your fingers into it. It ruins the blade and messes up the wood. So I made this sled and it's got a runner on the bottom here that goes in the miter track. I use it on a bandsaw all the time. If you're using a table saw, you can clamp it to the, clamp this with a C-clamp or any kind of a clamp. I've got one of these, quick clamps, they call it, and clamp it on there so that I can get my fingers out of the way. If it wants to pull it out of that clamp, why let it go? Your fingers aren't anywhere close to it. But I recommend if you're cutting this round stock like that, that you use something like that. We made the Woodturner Club in Pittsburgh for many years made tops for children at the Children's Hospital. And I was able to buy these. I bought a pickup truck load of these. They're were inch and 7/8 dowels, they called them, from some place up by Erie that was an overrun on a project, and I got them to donate them to me. And we made lots of tops, and we had to get some way of doing it without people getting hurt, and that's what we came up with. And I suppose many people have used it, but I hadn't remembered of it being brought up in a safety mentions on our website here, or this program, and that's why I wanted to show that to you tonight. So that's another thing that can be used on the bandsaw or any saw, as a matter of fact. But I'm going to cut a few grooves in a piece of wood here. I had the piece of wood and I don't know where I laid it now, but I'll get another one. Here's the locking device that I have for this router sled so that when I get it on here, I can lock it down. I did quite a number of these demonstrations for these grooves back a good many years ago. When I was up in New York one time, I did a demo and people took a lot of measurements and everything. And I was back to another club in the same area a year later or something, and a man came to me and he said, I made one of those jigs similar to what you had for that router, but he said it doesn't work right, and I don't know why. He says it seems to vibrate. And he showed it to me, and he had made it out of furnace tin. I don't know whether you know what we call furnace tin, but it's what they make ductwork out of for furnaces. Yes, it vibrated a good bit.
Yep.
I said, well, that isn't going to work. You've got to get something heavier than that. But anyway, I don't suggest you make one out of furnace tin. And he had it all pop riveted together real nice and everything, but it just wouldn't work. The one that I welded together at home was really good and substantial. And the reason I did it out of Unistrut was when I went to some of these demonstrations, I could take another number of extra pieces of Unistrut. The lowest I think it was 5 inches. The first mini kind of one that One Way made was 10 by 20 or 10 by 24, I think. And then they quit making that one and went to a 12. But I got into some generals in that up in New York and Canada, and they were up on 20 inches, so it was 10 inches to the center of them. And I could add or subtract pieces of this Unistrut, and it worked very good. But if you can have access to some of that stuff and are a welder, why it'll work very good. You can make a whole lot of things. But oh, here's a piece of wood I was looking for, and it's right here. Now,
Right
once
where
you
you left
once
it.
you get the setup, you can adapt these, cutting these grooves and everything. I don't have any bottle stopper supplies or anything with me where I am here, and it's 2 hours to drive to where my niece has it. And I just don't like to do that much driving anymore. So you want to remember, you want to start out on one of those holes, because I know I forgot to put the pin in, and things moved and didn't work right and all of that. Now, I'm going to see if I can get this light around here to get a better light on this. And underneath that.
There you go, John. That's great.
Good. Okay. Now you bring this here, and then, well, I'm pretty lucky that just clears that. And we can do some adjustments here. Would come from, but someone at our club would get some of this in Pittsburgh, would get some of this stuff, and he thinks it was what they made countertops out at some jobs like these delis at Sheets and some of those places. There's the gasoline stations that sell sandwiches and all. But anyway, boy, it was really something good. But if you try to turn a bowl out of it, mine was the glue hard on your gouges and everything. But a lot of us picked it up, and it was great for making these things because you could cut slots in this, in here and up back the sides to give this some clamping ability, and it wouldn't split. So I get this in here. If you're doing a whole lot of these, you get it figured out and cut the pieces the same length all the time, and then I put that big handle grip on there because my hands have a bit of arthritis in them and they don't clamp on that pretty good. But all this miter track has a little wee bit of slop in it, just a touch. But so you have to grab it firmly and really hold it down and pull it across there. And this will be noisy, as you might know. And I'll put a couple of grooves in here so you see how it's done, and glue a couple of pieces in. And I have a switch right behind me because the switches on these are very hard to use. Whoever invented them, I don't know. So I'm going to make a lot of noise for a few minutes here. So hold your ears or mute me or something.
Tear it up.
Well, that didn't work. Oh, I know why it didn't work. You have to. No, I pushed it the wrong way. I can't see the bloody thing. There we go. That's just cleared. Now I'm gonna give it about 3/16. And I've got a whole bunch of these little shims made. And I'm gonna, this one's marked 3/16. They're just little strips of wood that I can keep under, that I can put under this ring on here and tighten the ring down on it and pull that away. And then loosen this bolt again. Loosen this up. Put the screwdriver and put down in here. And give it a little twist. Make sure that's down. And if you're making a number of these and you cut them all the same diameter, well, you don't have to do all this fussing around. So now I'm going to make the noise again. And so much for that. A guard for that bit. And I have a set screw in it and I put it up on here. And if this gets bumped against the floor or a piece of metal,
That's a great idea.
it won't damage that bit. So I'll get rid of that off of there.
Well, that's one nifty idea.
Yeah, it sure is.
So get rid of this off of here. And then, can you see what I'm doing here? Yeah, I think
Yes.
you can.
Yep.
Turn it that way a little bit. Oh, one thing I forgot. These little wedges, what you want to do is take the sharp edge of them and rub them on a piece of sandpaper. the bottom edge of that. You'll never see it, but if you don't do that, if the bottom of that slot isn't exactly at a point, those little things aren't going to fit in. So you put that in there like that and press it down for a couple of seconds. There we go. And that's going to work there. And then we get another one. We take that sharp edge off. And then we get some more glue in here. And that's what you do with that. Then I leave them in there for, I've done it for a few hours. Then we'll do one more. I like the glue in that little bottle. It's Elmer's Pro Bond Advanced, and I use that a good bit. Pardon me?
How long does it take to dry or tack up?
Not very long. 5 minutes. I could probably turn them in 20 minutes, but I'm not going to because I'm not putting the whole ring of them in. Once you've seen that, you've seen it.
Do you put a rubber band or something around it to hold them together?
No, I never put anything on it. I've made really a lot of them, and I never put anything on it. See, they're getting tight now. And I'll tell you something else that I do with it. That's what I use on pen blanks for glue the tubes in.
Interesting.
I use very little super glue on anything anymore.
And that's holding that brass okay, you think?
Oh yeah, I tested it. And I have some that's been here for a year. And every once in a while I get them, put them in a vise and try to twist it. And you can't twist it. Yeah, I put them together and left them a day and put them in a vise and put a pair of vice grips on it or channel locks. And all it'll do is twist the metal and the steel and crumple it all up, but I've never had one come loose. That or tight bond, quicken something else. It's a glue that trim carpenters use, and it's made especially for putting trim on, and you hold it in there for just a little bit, and it's sticking there. And I glue the pins in the top of these ornaments and everything with it. But that's yeah, you can't slide that now. I've used it for a good many years. But,
Must be amazing. I've never seen a clean glue bottle before.
what was that,
I've
Eddie?
never seen a clean glue bottle in my life.
Oh, no, I know.
Boy, sometimes this live transcript doesn't pick up just what you talk.
Yeah, all I have to do, and I use that, is wipe it off with a paper towel and stick the cap back on it. And Here's the cap. Just a little orange thing like that and goes down on there. Oh, I don't know what it's got in it. Maybe a 1/16 of a sized hole.
Hmm.
And I bought it at Lowe's or someplace first off a number of years ago. Now it's a little harder to get, so I send away for it. You can get a couple bottles at a time off of Amazon or someplace like that.
Yeah, Tim Hatch put it in as an Amazon link, and Bob Grinstead put it in as a Lowe's.com link. So,
Yeah, you could do that. Lowe's, I guess.
so we have a couple of sources in the chat, folks. And that's what the chat is for. You got some information to share.
Yeah, put it in there. You can put anything in. If you want to put, if somebody has questions about it and can't answer, you can put my email in there. jhbrown@zoominternet.net. I think I sent it to you put it on the, whatchamacallit, the
Contact list.
website.
On the contact list.
Mhm.
Yeah, the contact list.
What type of
I'm going to
chucks are
take
you
this one
using?
piece of- I'm gonna get that light out of my eyes. And I don't know. I have a camera here that's overhead, if it'll work. This afternoon, it would work on and off. So I'm gonna plug it in and see if it works. Get this show. You can see what I'm turning better. If you go along with me a few minutes here, I see you thinking, drove me crazy this afternoon. Now, I'm going to get rid of this one and see what I can do.
We're looking at it from over top, John.
Okay, I see that.
Yep, looks good.
Now, where's my chuck?
To the left as we're looking at it, to the left floor.
Wait a minute there. There, we got it. You got it there now, don't you?
Now we're on, now you're driving.
Okay, all right. I'm going that I showed you a while ago, and that's just had paint slopped in it. I'll put it in here. I'll just take a roughing gouge and rough it off. Another gouge here, a 3/8 spindle gouge. We'll kind of round this off a little bit. Not too bad. It's just pine anyway. I glue this pieces of 2x4 together. So this would qualify, I think, for the 2x4 club.
Oh, it certainly does, yeah. Ronnie, put them on a list.
Let's get a little bit.
Do you make your own chatter tools or buy them?
I do. I'll do another one here in a minute. I'm gonna cut that off and do a different chatter tool. And here, that didn't chatter too good. I'll see what the next one does. I could make it better. I could extend that chatter tool out. Chatter tool. I made to see it's got a crooked end on it. Well, that one done better. Yeah, that's not the best picture, but here, I'm done with it. That's all I'm going to do.
Remember, folks, this is 2x4 he's using, so it blows out pretty easy with the chatter coming across or in shaping it.
Yeah, and every piece is a little different. This is two pieces glued together, but
That's cool.
so that didn't turn out too bad for pine, but I come too close to the edge, you see, and it I should have stopped it a little earlier, but there's what it looks like on a good side of it. So
I'll bring it
that's
down right, John. To your right.
Oh, okay, I see what. There you go.
Down by your chuck.
Put it in front of you, Chuck.
Oh, yeah, right, okay. Can you see it all right there?
Yeah.
I can't,
No, it looks good. Looks good.
Looks great.
yeah, I can't enlarge it anymore.
Yeah.
Can't
looks
enlarge
real
it
good, John.
anymore. But as I said before, if you wanted to do more with it and do the other side, well, you could put it in a mandrel like I've got here with that screw in and tighten that up. I don't want to tighten that one up right now because it's not going to hold, because I split it today much and it put a crack in it. I can't see it, but I know it's in there, and I just ruined it, which I can use it yet. So I've got one more thing. We've got time.
We have
About the
time.
router.
Well, John's setting this up. It's 15 after the hour. We started our demonstration early tonight. There's John's time limits on using the facility that he's in.
Hey, John,
Yes,
can I give you a little tip?
yes,
Okay, when you have the two pieces spreading out with that screw,
yes.
can you just make four slots? I have two slots, be four pieces, so when you turn the screw, it will automatically tighten up on all four sides.
Yes, that could be done, but that hole is, it would probably work. I just never tried it. I was getting along with that, but I
Well,
will. That's a good suggestion.
That's what I do. I'm just explaining what is happening is that when you're tightening down on it, you're only tightening down on two sides.
Yeah, yes. I
Because when you
understand
have
that.
four sides, you can tighten the screw, and the wedge of the screw will tighten equally on each side.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I'll have to try that.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Now, if you have a bowl or a platter, something like I've got here, I have occasionally, which I don't do very much of bowls. I just don't like to do them. I've done a lot of them, but I don't like to do them. It's not one of my things. Oh, I showed you that wheat pot, and how I get that on the wheat pot is I need to get my indexing plate here. If I'm doing this, I use a round nose bit. And but I'm not going to take the time to change one here tonight.
Turners, if you're watching this and you're on screen grabs, don't miss these shots.
I'm gonna cut these a little deep, I think. Now, here's what happens when you I'm gonna put my guard back on here. Hit the floor and ruin my bit. So let's take that out of there and see what it looks like. You can do the same thing across the ends if you want to. I'm not going to do that tonight. You turn this platform around here like this, and that's a little hard to see, but
Go more
Take a
right in
look
front of
at
you,
it.
Chuck.
okay, yeah, okay. Can you see them? They're a little hard to see, but
Yes.
they're on an angle, and they're here. Maybe I can help that.
John has just showed us how to lay in some inlays into the edges of a bowl, the face of a bowl, and also bottle stoppers. If you're joining us, you'd like to see this again, it's going to be on our website in 4 or 5 days as a repeat of this video. That's our webmaster, David Rhodes, does that each week for us. Now, this week's maybe a little late because due to technical difficulties, whereas I just couldn't figure out how to do it. In a few moments, we'll go back, we'll start some gallery, which we didn't start yet tonight. And here we go. John, look at this.
Got the makings of an ashtray.
A
Well,
what?
yeah, because I just didn't cut it any deeper, but it could be used. You see, here's these ones that went straight in right here. This one's straight in, this one's straight in, this one's straight in. And here's ones on an angle right here. It's a little hard to see, I guess, from the camera. And I guess it was more of an angle, but I just laid that board under it. I'd have to raise this up for a little higher to get a real good perspective of it. But that's what you can do with it. You can adapt a whole lot of different things to what I've done there tonight. Any parts here for it, but there's a good example of right here, of what it would look like with the inlays in it here within the chuck this way. And that's when it's finished. And
That's cool.
John, I got a question for you.
yep, go ahead.
The bottle stopper, you put the inlays in. Will you take a knife or a saw or something and cut those pieces off before you turn it?
No, I'm going to show you that right now.
Oh.
I've got one here that has
Okay.
pieces glued in. Can you see it there?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put it in a chuck. And this will be my last part of this.
Okay, Brenda,
Reason I
we're
have to
reading
be
your
out of
mind
here.
here.
I don't, pardon me,
We're reading Brenda's mind.
above this and off to the sides. And they don't want anybody running some of this machinery in here after 9 o'clock because, you know, these old people, some of them go to bed at 8:30. And I guess I kept them awake until 9 some nights. And I just don't like to get on the bad terms with anybody. You know, they're very good to me here. They're very good to everybody here. This is a great place.
Yeah, it's
Very
good to hear.
grateful for it.
Most of the sleds and jigs he's showing you tonight have been created in his shop, including the index wheel you saw, the sled for the router. If I had a shopping list, I'd be looking for that T-slide bar, and he told us where to get that. So this is a very doable project that we're looking to see what you Turners can do with this and show us in the next couple of weeks or months what you have done to create your artwork, because he just cracked open the door a little bitty bit. There's so much you can do with this.
Sure did.
Now, you see, here's this locking device here. Now, if I wanted to use this chuck as my dividing plate, I would make a locking device that come in. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes. I would use a locking device, and you would have to grind down a very small bolt or a screw for it to fit in there. But then the numbers are on the back of it, and they're difficult to read.
Now, somebody suggested that before you put the chuck on, you take a grease pencil and highlight the ones you want to use.
Well, you can do that. I have done that. Yes, I have done that. But if there's a way to put them on the end, on your hand wheel out here, that's a better way to do it, honestly. Because I could do that on the one way that I had. And I had them made, you take the hand wheel off, and there was 3 screws in the end of the shaft, triangle of screws. And I would make these dividing plates, the most common ones that I used. And I had a pattern for it, and I would drill them and just take the hand wheel off and put those on. And With the magnets they have today, you can attach a lot of different things to the end of this. I've thought about taking this hand wheel off, but then it's putting pressure on the bearings in there. It's a kind of a oddball way of doing it.
Turners, in the chat tonight, we've got sources for you to get for the patterns for the index wheels. Also, a couple of sources for the glues have been put in here tonight. Also, sources for the magnets that's been used. It's all in the chat. We welcome your input. If you're looking for options, ideas, suggestions, it's in the chat. And tonight, chat is very, very busy. So go ahead, John.
Yep, I'm getting my tool rest up here so that I can.
Stick
What I'm
around,
going to
Turners.
do-
We have two demonstrations this evening. John's the early bird, and then we have Matt Harbor coming in following this to help you out a little bit more. In fact, Matt's demonstration is going to trail this one very properly. You've seen some difficulties John's had tonight. Matt's got some suggestions and some ideas how to remedy some of those. That's why we're here.
I do? Okay.
Yeah, you do. Hey, yes, you do. We're reading your mind too, Matt.
Yeah, Matt's in his bunny pants just awaiting.
Scary part is he's like Doug Rowe. He might actually have that on.
And my wind chill is 10 degrees outside. I'm not going into the shop tonight.
Ah,
I started to round that off with a 3/8 spindle gouge because I want to take very light cuts because that's walnut that I had laid in there, and it will chip out at the sides. So I had to be very careful with it.
Is that pretty much what you needed to see, Brenda?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be what Brenda wanted to see, how you rounded that off or cut them off or something. You just take this small spindle gouge and start in there very, very lightly.
Yep, okay.
Anything
Thinking if
that
I
you do
tried
with
to
this,
turn that off there like that, it would just split them all out.
anything that'll give you a slice and cut, a very light slice and cut will do the trick.
even a skew would work, Brenda.
Yep, if you got the right angle.
In your garage, maybe, not mine.
Knife is a knife, a plow is a plow.
Now, John, you put the 90-degree edge into that groove, is that correct?
Exactly, man.
Okay, just making sure. Very nice.
Cool.
That is really neat. Really
Beautiful
That's down
job.
against it. That's down against it. The flat surface. Now I'm going to round the end off here a little bit. that was out of a piece of wood that had a hole in the end of it, and I didn't know it inside, but there it is.
Very nice. That is a cool trick with the inlay.
That is gorgeous.
Very nice.
See, if I would smooth this off on the end a little bit, now I could make an ornament out and drill a hole in it for a, but that's pine or fir or spruce, whatever the construction lumber was, all glued together.
Looks nice though.
Yes.
Good job, John.
Very nice. Thank you, John.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I use a well, that OB shine juice kind of, but I have about 3 times more shellac in it. I've got one more piece I want to show you. I think I can find it. Now, if you want to take a lot of time to make something, you need 2 lathes to do it. But here's one here.
Whoa.
That
It's a
is
double inlay.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I only made one of them. This has got Paduke in it and yellow heart. And it has never changed color in probably 20 years. I've had that.
Oh, that's
And
gorgeous.
I guard it. But here in these apartments, people put all kinds of decorations on their door. And I have a lot of Christmas ornaments hanging on it and things that I've made. But I won't put that one out. Because I've never known of anybody to take anything. But that's
That
so
would be the
special
one.
that I don't want to take a chance.
Don't blame you.
In order to get that double inlay in there, you have to leave the router jig set exactly where it is, or you won't get it. And then, well, I just thought of another one.
We knew where you keep them at now, John.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder how hard.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom
Now,
of the
I
tool.
think I showed you one like this, but here's a little blue one.
That's cute.
That one. That's
I
That's
like that one the
probably
best.
That's 1.25 inches in diameter, probably 2.5, 3 inches long.
Nice.
Now guaranteed this will be the last one. But here's a pen. And I only
Oh, I
made
was just
one.
gonna ask about
Wow.
that.
Oh my goodness.
That is awesome.
me?
That center band has those in there. The pen mandrel straight enough to do that because they're not perfect. Those pen mandrels aren't perfect. They look like it, but they're not when you get to doing something like that. But it took me 10 or 12 times to get that band made. And
Wow.
many years ago. And I only show that on special occasions where no one will pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to take a chance on making another one.
That
Okay,
touch is
friends.
beautiful.
So
Okay, friends, that's my
there-
demonstration for tonight. I hope somebody got some enjoyment out of it and can use that information. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody.
So
Thank
John,
you,
there
John.
there was a
John,
question
same to you,
earlier.
bud.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Merry
John.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you,
John.
John.
Awesome demo, John. Thank you for
Christmas.
sharing.
Folks,
And as
hold
I
on.
said before, if someone wants to email me, you're welcome to do it.
So John,
Thank you, John.
Randy Smith had a question for you.
Okay,
You there?
I haven't heard them
It
yet.
was more of a, if you have to make a jig, one easy way to lay out the index wheel is to do this, and it takes more time to explain than it does to do. I'm gonna make a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay.
Yeah,
Take this. Go into here, make a pie chart, a 2D pie
Right,
chart.
yeah, okay,
I'm using Excel, but you can use almost anything.
yeah,
I'm going to change the format of the plot data. And I'm going to say I don't want any fill. I want a border color to do a line, border styles. I want some, and I say, okay, close that.
There you go.
Right again. Format data series. I want no fill. I want a border color. I want the border styles, and I'll say close. Now I have a layout
yep, you do.
or an index wheel.
Okay,
What I will do now is go in and I will say save as.
right,
I will pick a PDF file.
right,
This will save it. And I'll just say, okay, save that one. If I can get this away from the thing. Save. And now I have a PDF file. Oh, I didn't get anything.
You haven't hit save.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta hit save.
I'm very familiar with Excel. And back years ago, when I was first designing this and getting this information put together to make that, they didn't have that on there. And that might be why I do it, and probably the easiest there is.
And once you have the PDF file saved, you can actually go in and say print.
Yep.
And I'll make
Yep.
posters of it. And I'll
Right.
say I want it 300%.
Yes.
And now I have a poster, and I can make
Right.
that index wheel any size I want.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And
I
then it'll
understand
print
that.
it
That's a
out
very
in
good.
sheets, and then it can be, and then you can paste it together and lay out the index wheel.
Yes.
Oh,
That's a very good program to do that with. When I was first doing it, I looked in Excel and couldn't find anything, but that was 24 years ago, something like that. And then I know a good bit about Excel. In not that way, but that's a very good one there. Yeah, I like that. And thank you for offering that or putting that information out. That's a good way to do it. Yep.
OpenOffice can do the same thing, and it's free.
Yes. Right.
Most of the
Yep.
spreadsheet programs will do that.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I
John's
imagine
on
they
the
would.
timeline tonight. Mr. John, we
Okay.
appreciate what you did this evening. It's fantastic.
Thank
Great
you very
job.
much. I enjoyed
right.
doing it.
Any other questions real quick?
I'd
Thanks,
like to
John.
add one thing, on hold down magnets. Carter uses a hold down magnet for like their fences for bandsaws.
Yep.
Okay.
You can go
Yeah.
buy them from them, and they're very, very, very strong on holding something down to a table. And it's a twist.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a quarter twist to release them.
Yeah, I used something like that. I forget what the name of it was when I was doing a lot of welding. There was magnets for that. That must be the similar
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I
Yeah.
even use it to hold the vise down on my ornamental lathe for rotary turning. You know, to put two of them in place,
okay.
two of them in place, and it locks it in place just like you bolted the thing down.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
They're a little pricier, but they do a fabulous job. They'll hold 30 or 60 pounds.
Okay, all right. Yes, yes. That's another good suggestion.
Indeed.
Yep, another good suggestion there.
All right. Once
Like I
again,
said
thank you
before.
very much, John.
You're welcome. If anyone wants other questions from me, feel free to email me.
Right on. Thank you.